Welcome back. If you didn't know, this has been National Estate Planning Awareness Week. Now you're aware, and it's a great time to make sure your loved ones are protected. Here to guide us through the estate planning process is our friend, financial professional Brian Benham from Benham Advisory Group. Thanks for coming in.
Great to be here.
And so this is something you say people really put on the back burner.
Yeah, I wish I had a good excuse, but people don't have a good excuse. It's, the idea of sitting around and talking about your death just causes people to want to put it off. And that's a recent study. That's the excuse. We're going to do it tomorrow. We're going to come out to it.
Sure. Okay. So what is the first step we should take when we decide this is something we're going to do?
Well, first of all, recognize the reality of death. And everyone's going to pass away, so it's not a matter of if you pass away. The reality is when you're going to pass away. And don't put it off. And Indianapolis has many great attorneys. And so, first of all, find you a good attorney that understands estate planning and recognize what a will does. Usually a will is a cornerstone of an estate plan, but a will may not be the only thing that you need. A will is an engraved invitation to probate, and some people would like to avoid probate. So you might want to consider a trust and how that might help you avoid probate. But the first thing is find an process of an estate plan.
Okay, so there are differences, though, as you're saying, you just really get that conversation started, but there's a will and then there's a living will.
That's a great question. People come into my office and I'll ask them oftentimes, do you have a will? And they'll say yes. Well, the fact is, a will, as we think of, a will is a directive to the court as to what we want done with our assets when we pass away. A living will is a directive to our medical community about what we want done in the event of our death, and are we going to be left hooked up to machines or not that's just simply prolonging our life. And so the will is directive to the court about our assets, and a living will is a directive to our medical field.
And you make good points that we never know when our time is coming. So just go ahead and face that reality.
It's the reality. When we talk to kids and they say, hey, if mom and dad die, it's if. When we talk to mom and dad, it's hey, when we die. And we have to face that reality. And a lot of people haven't done that. We talk about someone like Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King, he was all about people. He wasn't about material things. And when he passed away, he had very little. And because he had very little, a lot of folks think that's the reason he didn't have a will. But when you think about a Nobel Peace Prize and something like Dr. King's Bible, look at the value. And so whether you have a small estate or a large estate, everybody needs an estate plan.
Good points. Yeah, we can learn from those bigger names that
another one that pops into mind, Prince. Just a few years ago, he passed away. $200 million estate, had no will, and it went into court for a couple of years now before they finally settled on this. And I can't imagine the amount of money that was lost because of that.
Okay, well, Brian, thanks for coming in. Did not know that this was Estate Planning Awareness Week.
It's time to think about it. If you want to keep harmony in your family, get an estate plan. It's really our responsibility. Okay.